This is a review of the ENG T 185 Intro to CATIA 3D Experience Syllabus. You will be learning how to basically make simplistic canonical shapes on CATIA. This class is intended for someone that has already had some computer experience. You should be familiar with Microsoft Office. Most particularly the Word, Excel, and PowerPoint documents. Being a 3D CAD designer includes a lot more than just doing CAD modeling. You will be expected to document your work, be able to make PowerPoints to present to other people what it is you've built and explain to them how it functions through PowerPoints, PDFs, and Word documents. So if you are currently enrolled in ENG T 101, you have a math skill over 076, or you're taking manufacturing 102, all that concurrently, you're eligible for this class, or just the fact that you have enough computer skills that you're comfortable keeping up. If you feel you don't need the computer skills, I'd recommend either getting with Dale Galloway and kind of going over advice on what to do, or enrolling in the computer literacy or develop 096 classes, so that you're not feeling behind on how to manipulate the computer, as we will be doing CAD operations here. You don't have to be like an advanced computer programmer or nothing, but you should be somewhat comfortable on the keyboards and have some kind of level of competency of using a computer, PC, or laptop. Alright, typically my office hours are 4 to 5. That may vary on what classes I'm teaching, so you can double check by looking that up. The easiest thing to do is just hit book appointment with me, and it'll tell you what times I'm available. And you can just click a time that works for you if you want to see me one-on-one for anything particular. If you were gone absent a day and you need to get caught up on an assignment, or something comes up, you need personal time, or you need to help schedule with your upcoming classes, or you're getting locked out of class, or anything you guys need that you need to book a one-on-one time with me, that's the best way to do it. So just hit that book my link, and then you can set a time with me there. Alright, when we do reside to parking, we have parking depending on where we're at. You will need a parking permit. Okay, so make sure you get your parking permits. I'm going to recommend you don't buy a book until you show up for class. I'm trying to make this so now that students that are not engineering tech students, I'm not going to make them buy so many books. It's good to have, but if you're paying out of your own pocket, I'm going to try and help you out. The book you absolutely need is a print reading for industry book. So make sure you get that book. I will work with you on the other books. In fact, I'm going to start taking this off my syllabus because I don't even know. We're on 2021 now, and everything they printed was so old. One of the reasons I'm getting away from books is they keep changing everything, and I'm starting to feel like it's a waste of money to buy stuff when they keep changing the documentation, or changing the software where it doesn't match the documentation in the books that we're getting. So I'm not a big proponent on showing you or getting you to buy books versus having to show you how to find stuff online. So you're not buying a book, you're finding the latest and greatest info on the internet. One book I would recommend is this green book, especially if you're going into engineering tech, because right now if you're engineering tech, if you do a CATIA job, you're going to have to either know CATIA 3D experience or both. And this one here, the green book, will do some assignments out of that, so you can see that there's not a whole lot of changes. Once you get to the meat and potatoes of stuff, just the interface is a lot different from what it was to what it is now. But if you did get a job and they were using V5, you would have some V5 references, and all this stuff is pretty much caught up to the latest V5 stuff. You'll need the correct software, so check this link for the correct software. I want to recommend getting headphones and a mic so that you can communicate with me, and a camera so you can communicate with me and communicate with the class. I would recommend a headset if you have other people in your house. It can be really distracting trying to follow along with class or listening to my lecture if you have no headset. So I get that, and I need to talk to you. We're not quite at a phase where I don't need to talk to people anymore, so I need you to get a microphone so you can communicate, and a headset and a camera. Okay, so those are the things that I really would like you to get. And you can, all the CATIA models we're going to build, you can save them to a flash drive, because once you leave my class you might not have access to anything anymore, so you can download it to a UBS. So you might get yourself a flash drive to save models. And I'll have you read through this for the RAM specs, what you need for your CATIA. Honestly though, this website here should have the latest and greatest links or information that you need. Okay, but this is the last I've been given what kind of information you need for a computer and the laptops. Here's what I don't know, and what I'm starting to realize is a problem. You need pretty quick internet, and the reason why you need quick internet is you're going to be on a conference call, you're going to have the 3D experience up, and you're probably going to have the AWS up. And for people not having a strong enough internet, there's a couple options. We have hotspots we can request for, but some people have tried that and it didn't work great. The other thing is we could try and get in the lab if your internet connection isn't fast enough. So I don't know what specs you need to get from your internet, but I know that I've had some clients or students telling me that their internet is not fast enough and therefore their system keeps crashing on them. So that's something to bear in mind, that you'll need a pretty good internet connection. That pretty much is the gist for all my classes. So the syllabus is going to be the same thing in general, from class to class. So I'll go through it with you guys this time, and the next couple times you can just kind of go through it. I've already kind of talked to you about the 3D class. This is just basically making simple parts, doing simple drawings, simple assemblies, and simple surfaces and wireframe. So these are all your learning objectives. I'll let you guys read through those. If you have any questions, we'll open up for questions on the syllabus when we get into class. I don't think you need to sit here and let me read this to you line by line. I'm pretty sure you can read through that and just get going on to the next thing. Again, I hope you're comfortable with the Microsoft Office, and that will make it a lot easier for you. If you're not comfortable with the computer, maybe you should set an appointment with me and talk to me about it. All right, so we got to get our logins going before we can actually get into class. So come Monday, before you show up for class, it shouldn't take too long. I gave you links on how to get into all your accounts, get them all going. If you don't know how to get one going, you can call the help desk and they'll help you out. All right. We don't have to really deal with facilities since we're not there anymore. This emergency video, just in case we do go back, I'm going to have you watch this video here on the emergency stuff. Okay, so how's this class going to run? You got to make sure you got the right computer specs. Make sure that we can get in and use either a hotspot. You might have a really super high-end gaming computer. The problem with the gaming computers is a lot of times the graphics card doesn't work so well for the 3D experience, which I don't understand why. But when you go to that link above, they're going to have a million computers to choose from instead of just giving us the links. Well, what are the specs we need? So that's why I tried to list the specs out instead of trying to go computer by computer. What you find is a lot of the computers they say to get aren't even available anymore. So I think you're going to be a lot better off if your computer works than trying to go through the AWS. I use the AWS a lot, but you really need a good sized monitor to make that easier. If you're on a laptop, boy, the AWS is going to be that much more challenging. So if we're working on something as big as an airplane and you're working on a 12-inch monitor, it's going to be really challenging for you. A lot of zooming in and out. The screen just gets super small in the AWS. So, but it'll work. Again, if worse comes to worse to try and get into lab, that's going to be based on the internet not working at your house, or maybe your class. Like your class ends, and then you only got 5 minutes to get back to your house to get to my class, so you can be on virtual training. If there's a situation where you can't get to one class or another, we might have to get a lab available for you. I'll need to identify that right away, because it will take time to get us into a lab and get permission and all the paperwork and bureaucracy now that we would have to go through to get you in a lab. So again, if you are in a shop class, whether it be composites, machining, welding, whatever the case, you might start off virtual, but at some point you'll probably have to go in and do work. So if that's going to be a case, you need to look at that schedule and see if it's going to interfere with your schedule and see how you're going to work around it if we get a lab going. So basically, how I've been running class is I do videos on how to do the assignments. You guys come to class and I check off the assignments. And if you're not understanding how to do something, we kind of figure it out together, and it seems to be working well as far as a lot of people can learn from each other as we go through our assignments together as a group. So that's kind of how it's been going, and it's been going pretty good. We've been able to stay pretty much on task. So I guess we're trying to move to online training where there's no specific times. That has not, I'm not currently there yet. So you're gonna have to just bear with me and keep going to class right now. But for a lot of you, you might be able to check out early. Once, if you don't have questions and I've checked everything off, you're free to go. But a lot of people actually like to stay and watch what other people are doing, and they find that they learn a lot watching what other people do, how they do it, what techniques they used, or if they made mistakes, how do you fix it? Or if you couldn't figure out how to do something, how did they do it? So that's been working well for that. If you can be in class and going through it, I'm gonna record the classes, so if you can't be there, you'll see what we talked about. I'll let you read through the course requirements. Basically, you're supposed to be turning in your assignments on time. Almost any other class, you don't get a grace period. They make you turn in an assignment, and they don't care about what sad stories you have. They won't accept a late paper. I will give you 48 hours to submit. But the price you pay for submitting late is the highest score you're going to get is 80%. If I take off points, then you're going to get a lower score than that even. So if you got more than 80% done, you might want to turn it in so I don't dock you for so many points. Also, don't turn in late assignments when other assignments need to be turned in on time. If you're late on an assignment, make sure the assignments that are due currently, you get those done so that you're not working on late assignments all the time. I'd rather have you one late assignment than 5 late assignments, because you keep working on late assignments and not getting caught up. So I'd rather you skip an assignment and just get caught up and stay on task. Again, I'll let you read through the attendance policies. It used to be a real thing that we're not going to have you miss classes, because what I find is if you miss more than 3 classes, those are the people that are failing my class anyways. So missing classes really has been detrimental to students. I pretty much find the percentage of time you're in class is relevant to whatever your grade's going to be. So I want you to do well. You've come here, you might as well learn this. And I don't want you to move on if you don't have this down. This is the foundations, the most important class I teach. It's fun to go do all the other classes. They're a lot of fun because they're more advanced. It's a lot funner stuff. But if you don't get your foundation really solid, you're going to feel more lost in those classes. So I always say this is my hardest class. Unless you go to my advanced class and you don't know my basic stuff, well, then I'll bury you. But if you really know this basic class, you're going to have an easier time going through the more advanced stuff. So that's basically my stance on your attendance. Again, with the recordings and stuff, maybe it won't be such a big deal, and you'll be able to get your assignments turned in on time. You'll be able to catch up. So we'll just see how that goes. Standard grading process. Unfortunately, I can't give you A+. So the A is the highest grade I can give you. Be sure if you're ever taking the class again because you want to get a better grade, you identify that to enrollment so that it doesn't affect your GPA. If you don't tell them, they won't replace the class. So if you got a D and an A, it'll average it out. Or if you're replacing the class with you got a D in and you got an A, you want that D to be taken off the records. I want you to hit all the hyperlinks and read through them. Know the college website and the rights and responsibilities of a student. Okay, make sure you've taken the time to go through that. If we go back to school, there's information on what we got to do to fill out the proper paperwork for the COVID stuff. I think the library is great. If we ever get to go back to the library, it's a great place. They have a lot of stuff there for us. So I encourage you to check out the website. They will let you check out computers, tablets, all kinds of stuff. You just never know what good stuff's going to be there for you, so check them out. Check out your dates. Make sure you know what dates you're committed to if you're going to drop the class or whatever it is. Make sure you understand what the dates are for doing whatever it is you need to do. I would encourage you guys, if you're stuck in your English and math classes, to go to this tutoring center. They can help you, but for the CAD classes, I would encourage you to take ENG T 225. ENG T 225 is a 2-credit class where you can work together as a group and have an instructor available to answer questions for your group. Okay, so again, enroll into ENG T 225 and you can work together with other students and an instructor there available to help you finish your homework. That class is also intended to help students that want to further their knowledge to get certifications. I'm not a big proponent of certifications. I got my certifications. It really doesn't mean anything. They just see how much you can memorize, and doesn't really, you don't even turn on a CAD to do your certification. So seems kind of goofy to me, but some people like that on their resume, and some companies like that you did the certification. But I would probably use that time to make sure I'm caught up on my homework and getting all the things I actually need to know done. If you have any disabilities at all and need some kind of help, I would recommend contacting that kind of a number. You never know what they have, whatever aches and pains you might have, you might contact them. They might be able to help you out. You just never know, so give them a call. I don't know what to say about the computer labs. I've left it my syllabus, but I don't know what to say about that for right now. So labs open or not open, they did last quarter. We're just going to have to see how this goes quarter by quarter on what really gets opened. But if they do open them up, this is the link to where the website is for the labs and times and such. Anybody that's a veteran, I want you to contact them. I don't care if you don't think you need to. I want you to contact them, introduce yourselves to them. And they can give you a lowdown on what the program does, and you might be surprised they might have more things available than you thought. This is some information on the library. I want to encourage you to read through that information. They have those cards at the library. And this is the Student Chaos. Go to your website and go to the Student Chaos and check it out. Make sure you get familiar with all that stuff in there. And these are measurement tools I want you to go get. Harbor Freight had some, and I guess Hobby World has some, and I think Amazon's now starting to get to be your best bet. They seem to be the lowest price, the fastest to get it to you. I would recommend, I want you to get this 3-piece if you can get the 3-piece here. The idea here is I teach you how to read fractions. All right, so that's why we have this. And you guys got to learn how to use measurement tools. When I was in design, I had to measure stuff all the time and then write that information down. I would sketch out the shape of the part, jot down the dimensions, and then go make the shape. So you guys will be practicing the same kind of things here in this class. Okay, also get some triangles, compass, and have this calculator handy. It's so very handy to have. You have to have it in the ENG T 101 class. Just make sure you have that available. Get it now, so when you get into ENG T 101, you're not waiting around. Plus, you might use it in multiple classes. All right, so that pretty much covers what's on the syllabus. I know that's kind of boring and dry, but there will be a syllabus quiz for you to take. I want you to do your syllabus quiz, and then when we have a class, if anybody has any questions on the syllabus, we'll address it then. And if there's no further questions, we'll submit. All right, that concludes the syllabus part.